Welcome, everyone, to the next perfect step, where all possibilities lie in conversation. I'm Laurie Mullen, an energy practitioner, and my co-host.
Hi, hello, I'm Laurie Tremblay, and I am also an energy practitioner, a Reiki teacher, and I like to make sure that you remember who you truly are. Today's we have a very special guest, Mackenzie. She is joining us and she does breath work. I'll just read a little bit about Megan. Megan empowers people to rewrite their stories and grow into their full potential. Mackenzie is a hypnobreathwork facilitator and mental health mentor. She guides you on a transformative journey of healing and personal growth. By releasing past trauma, reprogramming negative thought patterns, and shattering limiting belief systems, you'll uncover the wisdom within to overcome challenges and achieve your dreams. And I had the pleasure of attending one of Megan's breathwork group sessions with the singing bowls, which was amazing. So I know a little bit, got an introduction of her work, and I'm really excited. So welcome, Megan, and please share with us how you got into this work, or what motivated you and guided you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to share this practice because especially specifically what I do, hypnobreathwork, it's new and we don't quite get it until we've experienced this practice ourselves. My story, there's like the long version and the short version. I'll try to get all the snippets, but I feel like it really does begin when I was 12. And I feel like our stories have medicine, so I do like to share it. So both my parents have committed suicide. And when I was 12, my father passed first, and I was introduced to Reiki simultaneously. And that really was like a pivotal moment for me to go through something like that and then be introduced to a healing modality, which just opened up all these doors for me. And I've just been on this journey of self-discovery and self-healing and trying to find these healing modalities that really delivered. And then, it was just a couple years ago, I ran into breath work. I went on this trip. I was so hungry. I needed something to nourish my soul. And I found breath work. And I had, this crazy experience. I was in a room full of 50 people out in Austin, Texas. And I've got people screaming and crying and roaring. And the girl behind me is doing God knows what. And I was like, what? I felt so at home, actually. It was total chaos. And I was like, people are having the most real, raw human experiences. And I loved it so much. And I came home and I was telling everybody about my breath work. And I'm like, have you done it? Do you have a practice? And everyone's like, no, but I want whatever you had. And I was like, yeah, okay. So my cousin, her best friend, actually is the founder of Hypnobreathwork. And she connected us two, and I became certified. And I love her practice of hypnobreathwork. It's genius, the journey that we take you through, which we can get into shortly. But that's really the story of how I became a hypnobreathwork practitioner so far.
Oh, that's a powerful story, Megan. It's amazing. What kinds of benefits do you get from hypnobreathwork?
So there's a lot of emotional release. That's just the breath. I don't have to say anything. The power of the breath will guide you, and it will bring up whatever is right under the surface, whatever needs to come up and be cleared. And emotions can be released. It could be, it's not just crying. It could be you go into, a laughing fit, or we want to scream and roar, right? So that's the beauty of this practice of the breath work, is that it releases things that are stuck, that we've been carrying around, so we can let it go and just live our lives. And then the hypnotic suggestions is what can guide this practice in a very precise manner. So whatever it is that you're specifically looking to heal or grow or move through, I will take you on that guided journey of releasing the negative thoughts, the trauma, and then replacing it with something so much more supportive and loving and beautiful. And the one thing I love about this practice too, ladies, is that you're not just having this big, crazy, cathartic experience. Towards the end of the session, I ask your subconscious or your intuition, what is your next action step to creating the life you want? So, which is so important. So it's not just what happens on the mat. You get to you get this intuitive hit of how you can create your life the way you want it, and that's so important. That's one of the reasons why I love this practice so much.
That's awesome. I love that. Because it's taking it from the mat and putting it into something real that we can keep moving with, keep going with, which is just wonderful. Now, what's the difference between hypnotic breath work and like meditation breath?
So that's a good question. So when we're doing the particular breath work, what's happening is that on a chemical level, you're literally changing your brain. So we're softening the frontal cortex. That's the monkey mind that's telling you you're not breathing right, or you're worried about what emotions are going to come up. That quiets. And then we're able to access the subconscious. So then we can, like, that's the goal. That's where I want to get to, is the subconscious. And then we can bring up all of the things that need to be released, right? Like the traumas. With guided meditation, I mean, you can get to these states, you can access your subconscious through meditation too. It is very difficult, I'll be honest. I love meditation, but it is very challenging to get to that state. So the breath work just makes this a very accelerated process to get to that subconscious state.
So is it different, like the breath work? So like, I've used ones like 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. Is there a process with the hypnosis that you do with the breath work, or is it just different for each one you do, each session you do?
Yep. So like different types of breath are going to get you to different states. Some are going to be really relaxing, right? Right? Or some are going to be very activating, like the breath of fire. The particular breath that we do is a 2-part inhale and just sigh it out. So, but you can kind of think of it as like that runner's pace is how I like to describe it. And it gets you right where I want you.
And that's repeated. That's what we did in your session.
Yep.
And you keep repeating that. And then you were saying, I think guided affirmations, or what you were guiding us. And I felt, well, there were people crying and there were people, doing different, I didn't really know what everyone was doing, but for me, it came up as, the tears were just like flowing down my face. And I know that's my form of release, or one of them, but it was working. And it happens quickly, and you were relaxed, and we were laying on the floor, listening to the bowls too, that crystal bowl. So it was like an amazing experience with the combination of the bowls and the breath work, and just, trusting that in that space and what was happening was just beautiful. So I'd like to do that again.
Yeah, thank you. It is a beautiful, profound experience. I've actually never been able to like experience the sound bowls and the hypno breath work. Like, I want to take these classes, so I'm envious.
It was great.
Yeah.
So what other techniques do you use besides the 2 short and exhale the breath? Is
So
there
that's it. It's just doing that breath work over and over again. There's no pauses, there's no breaks. You just keep that breath going. And some people, within a couple of minutes, they'll notice emotions come up before I have to say anything. The breath works really fast. It's very effective and very efficient at its job at releasing and clearing. So it's just the breath. Music is a big part of this for me. I pick music that'll take you on this journey, which can be a bit of a roller coaster ride, because we build it up with the breath, And then, you know, we dig deep and we get into the dark, heavier stuff. So you'll get like this very dramatic or like darker orchestra that really helps you invoke that emotion out. And then we bring it up to these very just happy, high vibe songs, and it becomes this very beautiful experience. So it's like I like to describe it as we're taking people through kind of this dark tunnel to get to the light at the end. And music really helps.
Laura, do you have any questions?
So do you have any upcoming events, or do you do this in a private group? Can you do this one-on-one, or do you do mostly groups?
Yeah. Yep. So I have a whole variety of ways to do this, and some people are going to resonate with others. And so we can do one-on-one over Zoom. Some people like that. They like being in the comfort of their own home. Some people hate that. You know, it's like whatever, to each his own. And some people feel a lot more comfortable and safe coming to my space to help just hold that space and be with them so they feel safe. Or there's group sessions, which is one of my favorite because I love the energy of the room. With the sound bowls, it's a bit more mellow. If it's just me and my music, it's a bit more like a Tony Robbins experience. There's a lot of energy in the room. So it really just depends on like what your needs are and what you're looking for and what you're comfortable with. But each has got its own flavor, we'll say, but it all packs a punch.
Great. I like the Tony Robbins.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you're in New Hampshire as well. We are as well. So your studio is located in nearby.
Yeah. So I'm in Albany, which is right near like the North Conway. I'm in the Mount Washington Valley. So I do work out of like my private property. I have a sweet little cabin butted up against National Forest, and that's great for one-on-ones for people to just like to really let it out. Like actually, I just got out of a session here before I hopped on this call with you, and you know, she felt safe enough to just scream, and I screamed with her, and you know, we had that safety and that comfort to do that in my space. So, and I'm touring around too. I'm having a lot of fun kind of bouncing around New England and dropping into different yoga studios and pairing up with people like Gary to do the sound bowls.
Well, that's wonderful. I think this is such a needed modality, and it's not something that I'd heard of before. I mean, I know there's breathwork, but I didn't know that there was this certain breathwork modality, and I think it works, and it's something everybody can do. You know, it's really accessible to everyone. And I think, Laura, you had done a session where you were using sound and breath to express.
Yeah, I went away for a weekend where we kind of got we found our own soul sound, and we used that to help release and move us into altered states and stuff like that. And it was an absolutely wonderful experience. Absolutely wonderful experience.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So the breath work, with the hypnosis, are you only working with releasing traumas, or are there other benefits and other ways in which to use the breath work?
Yeah, so the door is wide open. Whatever it is that you want to work on, like I have a great recorded program for like reaching your goals, becoming like your best self. Like it doesn't have to be, you know, the heavy, dark trauma stuff. That's part of it. Like it's important to get out some of the old stuff that needs to go so we can welcome in the good stuff, right? So on like a micro version, like I will always take you through a journey where we clear out some of like the negative programming. It doesn't have to be trauma, but stuff needs to be cleared out. And then we move towards the end into like reprogramming to positive, uplifting, whatever it is that you're looking for, right? It's all the good stuff. We move to the good stuff towards the end.
That's great.
Yeah.
Would you feel comfortable doing a little demonstration of the breath work? Is that something you'd feel comfortable doing?
Yeah, totally.
With the readers? Okay.
Do you want me just to show you the breath, and I can kind of give you like a little mini, how long would you like that to be?
It's up to you. I mean, it's be fun to have it, for our listeners to just experience a little bit of it. So it's completely up to you.
Okay, I've got it. I know what we're gonna do. We'll do a couple minutes, and we'll pull in that best version of ourselves. All right, so before we get started with any of this, it's always important that I have people, if you're listening, just to close your eyes and just to take one breath, however you like. That's to ground and get centered and let the mind and the body connect. So we'll all do that together. And then we'll start the breath, and I'll guide you through it. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and out the mouth. And it's a 2-part inhale. Don't worry about this right now. Don't overthink it. But we balloon the belly, then we bring it up into the chest, and then we sigh it out our mouth. So it sounds like this. Okay. So we'll breathe for a few minutes. It won't take long, but you'll start to notice the effects. So let's start with the breath. In through the nose and out the mouth. The point of this breath is to really get the oxygen in the body and then just sigh it out. And you'll start to notice you feel a little high, you may feel a little tingling. So just keep breathing. The head may start to buzz a little bit, right? So this is like life force energy that you're welcoming in and bringing in, and it's moving throughout the body. Keep breathing. And as that breath starts to move the energy, things have to be released, right? If there's anything stuck, it's going to be dislodged, and that usually comes out in the form of emotions. That doesn't mean you're going to just instantly start crying right now, but you can start to get a sense. Just let it feel good. And then I want you to start to envision. So it's not just the breath, we work with the mind and the power of the imagination. And I want you to envision like the best version of yourself, right? What does she look like? What does he look like? Your eyes are sparkling. Your skin is glowing. Like, what are you wearing? How are you standing? You can either come back to like a memory where you felt like the best you, the most free, most happy, right? It could be like at a wedding or holding a baby or dancing. And then just to invite that person in while you're doing this breath really allows the brain and the body to drop all resistance and welcomes this, whatever it is that you're imagining. So right now we're imagining that best version of ourselves. We're remembering it, right? So we're coming back to that incredible, beautiful, brilliant person. Because sometimes we forget, keep breathing, just how amazing we are, right? So this is your moment to remember. So just sit with that for a minute. You can slow down the breath. Bring it back to your regular cadence of breathing. Beautiful. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I feel really at peace and just really happy. Yeah.
It's so much fun, you guys. Like, I love this work. I love helping people let go of whatever they need to let go of and remember how brilliant they are. It's, to me, it's the funnest. Like, I just love it. I love this work so much.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What advice would you give somebody who's just starting out, who doesn't really know anything about breath work, but they want to get started? Like, what advice would you give them?
Yep. I mean, there's YouTube, right? which is YouTube. If you're just like, maybe you're on a budget, you just want to explore, YouTube is great. Just YouTube breath work, and just you can sit in the comfort of your own home and start to experience this practice, to start to play with your breath. I recommend just lying down and following a YouTube, or just putting on some music you like, and you have the breath now. You like, I've demonstrated the breath for you. Or I also have recordings available on my website too, which are just 20 minutes. And it's actually there's one recording, and it's just so positive. It's so uplifting. It's like a little taste of what we just did. And we release, kind of, like I said, that negative thought pattern, all the things that we tell ourselves, right? That all the negative stuff, we release that and we come back to the best version of ourselves. So just, playing with the breath and discovering the power, because I think, like, just honestly, like, our culture, we just don't know, we don't get it. And I always like to joke, after people come up, they sit up from a class and they're just like totally like mind blown. And it's like, who knew, right? Like, who knew that breathing could be this powerful? Like, people go into such incredible states of euphoria and bliss. They've never felt that way, especially sober. And it's just with the power of our own breath. It's good work. It's fun.
Amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, I felt a little bit tingly too, and just freer. And I noticed during the day that a lot of times I forget to breathe. I mean, I'm just like, well, you're not breathing. What's wrong? So I think just being aware of your breath and then practicing the breath work itself brings such, clarity, like you said, and just release and joy.
Yeah. And it's immediate. It could take one breath. That's all it takes sometimes. It's like to catch yourself and go, oh, that's it. There's a shift. It's subtle enough, but it's real and it's there.
And obviously, go ahead, Lori. Sorry.
No, sorry. We're always on the same path. Yeah, no, just what I love about breath work is I think that our nervous systems are so shot. We don't realize, like, really, if sitting for 5 minutes and breathing, the fact that we can calm that nervous system down and actually feel ourselves in our body, we're so go that half the time we're not even in our bodies. And it's that simple, like you said. It's just the breath. It's just breathing. Our breath is so powerful that it can put us right back in our bodies. And it is a utopia, wonderful, uplifting feeling to be centered in our bodies. And it really can just happen with our breaths, 5 minutes to 20 minutes to, however long you want to stay there. But it's just amazing. And I commend you on the work you're doing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So can you share with us your website, and we'll also put it in the comments?
Yes. So my website is my full name, well, with the initial. It's meganlmackenzie.com. And it gives a little bit more information about, my story, my mission, and a bit more about what Hypnobreathwork is. And if you're interested, you can check me out, and you can book a call and we can talk if you've got any questions. Yeah, can I share a bit about my mission?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So my mission is really to bring hypnobreathwork to specifically New England. Because on the West Coast, they're a bit more progressive when it comes to these things, and they've really, like, people really get it out there. So I really want to bring the power of this practice to home. Because I just want people to know that there's something this powerful and this impactful available to them. So, like, that's my mission, is to just really let people experience this and to let them know that, yeah, there's something like this out here for them to heal, because this practice really works. It's so rapid. Like I mean, in older traditional healing modalities, we spent, years or even decades getting really minimal results. And I've seen how effective and efficient this practice works. So yeah, I just want people to know that we can just breathe a little differently and experience the relief and the highs that we're all searching for.
That's great, Megan. I'm commend you on that. And I was, as you were speaking, I was thinking of children. This would be so easy for them. There's sometimes they have no available coping skills for their anxiety, right? So this would be simple to do as a family, to do just on their own.
Mhm.
I mean, anyone, any age can do it, but I know that children don't have the awareness or the coping skills that they need sometimes.
Yeah. So with children, I would do a very gentle. I don't actually work with children, but because of the intensity that I work at, and the level I work at. But with children, I would recommend just a very just getting connected, just with just gentle breaths. But yes, anyone, of course, can do this, right? But yeah, I typically work with 18 and older, because we go deep and it gets raw. But yeah, for kids, just bedtime, or if there's a little anxious and they're, things are starting to build, remind them. I think just one good or a couple good breaths are really great for children to start.
And
Yeah.
also you're holding a safe space for people that do go through things that are a little bit raw, right? And
Yeah.
So they feel like they're in a container that's safe for them to release and to go through those wonderful releases and to get through that dark tunnel like you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the light, to the other side.
Yep. Exactly. And sometimes that we need that. I do get a lot of people that aren't comfortable. I think as they sense the power of this practice and they're not comfortable doing it alone. So they do like to show up in person to feel safe. That's important, right? To feel our feelings in a safe manner, because we weren't feeling so safe prior. And that's how we have the stresses and the traumas that we had, and unable have the ability or not have the ability to process them properly. So yeah, being witnessed and being held and knowing that you're safe to explore and release is very valuable.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I mean, you can do it alone, but to have somebody hold you while you're going through that, it can really help you even more than just the release. To have somebody, like you said, witness, see you, and be able to hold you in a space where you can just let go and be able to work through is super important.
Yeah. And to help midwife it out too, because what I'm seeing is that we hold on to these things. We've got a really tight grip, even though we don't want it. We hold on tight, and in these sessions, what part of my job is to help tease it out, or midwife it out of them, so they can just let go of that grip if they can't do it on their own. Yeah.
And that's a great analogy. I think that as a society, we do hold on to our trauma because for some weird reason, it feels safe. We're all walking around with it. So it's like security blankets for us. Like you can hear people in conversations. We're almost like one-upping our traumas. Like somebody will tell you something and you're one-upping their trauma to see who has the most trauma. Like we're walking around like it's a security blanket. So it almost has to pull it out because you almost feel safe with it.
Yeah. Yeah. The identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan, just looking at you and your beautiful smile, you have a lot of light and love, and just coming out of you. So I know that this has worked for you. And it's nice so great that you have this mission to share it with as many people as possible. And I know that they're going to benefit. So thank you for your work.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been looking for a practice like this for a long time. And I found this thing and I was like, got it. Like, I got to share it, right? I have to share this practice now. And this is what I do now. Like this is it. This is my soul practice. And I love it so much. It's just such an honor to serve. And it's such an honor to be in that space with people, to have real, raw human experiences. I think that, like, I find a lot of healing in that. It's got to be, you know, part of my past and my story, where, you know, yeah, just with my parents, like looking back and thinking like what happened? Like something went so terribly wrong. Like how could somebody, you know, end their own life? So part of my work is to like not let their tragedy be all for nothing. So it's like I took what I learned and just helping people heal and feel, and like just take them through that process to get to the other side. Like the work is very deep in my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to share or add?
I think a little caveat, yeah, with the breath, if you're going to sit and do it on your own, I do just like to give people a heads up, because breath can be very powerful. That it's just to let people know that strong body sensations can arise, like your hands can cramp, right? And it can kind of freak people out at first especially if you don't expect that coming. So I just want to just give people kind of a heads up. If your hands cramp up, that's okay. Like, don't freak out. It's just part of just the body working through it. Or like people will start to tremor towards the end. That's actually a really good sign that, you know, the body's releasing it. It's stored and it's got to come out. So to trust in the process, trust the breath and the journey that it takes you on.
That's good to know. Thank
Yeah.
you. Lori, do you have anything to add?
No, just that, you know, breath work is so important. And if you don't have a practice, breath work is a great foundation in which to build anything upon. So I highly recommend looking into it, starting your own practice, or, you know, getting in touch with Megan and starting your journey through breath work.
Actually, it is that I can piggyback off that. There's a young woman who came to my class last night, and she's just started her Reiki journey as a practitioner. And I looked at her, I was like, now, could you imagine like taking like a few minutes to do the breath, like just the breath for yourself? Like how, like, and she's like buzzing. I'm like, now imagine you're Reiki, right? It'll be like on steroids. So it is a great little thing to incorporate with just kind of anything, especially if you're a practitioner or, you know, whatever you're doing in life. It's great to just kind of inject the breath to just like amplify whatever it is that you're doing.
That's a great idea. Yes. Yeah. So it's like a good practice just for everything. Yeah. Making everything better. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today and just inspiring us, and your work is just beautiful. And thank you for what you're doing in the service that you're doing. It's just amazing.
Thank you for having me and allowing me to share this practice, help get it out and spread the word. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yes, and we will have all of Megan's information down below. If you'd like to contact her or work with her, you'll be able to find her through our comments below. Until next time, how is your intuition leading you to the next perfect step? Thank you.